Hi everyone, thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm excited today because GA4 has been such a dramatic thing, I think, and it's good to just get in touch with people about it and kind of share some thoughts. So yeah, I'm Lana Gibson. I run Lanalytics, and we help you with all your GA4 needs like training, dashboards, and setup. And yeah, I've been using GA4, working with quite a few clients over the last few months, and some common trends are coming up. Some common feelings, which is basically dread and confusion. And yeah, so I thought I'd just share some kind of common things that I've been seeing, and just my feeling about the tool. I've called it first impressions because they are my impressions. It's not going to be a comprehensive, session on all things GA4. And I'm very focused on content performance, and my clients are. So I thought it might be of use to you guys. And it is going to be about using GA4 data to understand audience behavior and improving the front end website performance. So I'm not going to go so much into that technical changes and setup issues. But yeah, I'll take you into the GA4 interface, the brave new world, and give you tips on what to turn on, and I'll demo a few things to help you make the most of your data. I'm using the Google Merchandise Store GA4 account, which is the official Google demo account. And this is a great one if you want to have a play around in it with lots of data, and it's a commerce site. It's open to everyone. It's great to use. So yeah, just have a go. And I'll be going into the kind of ground floor stuff to help for people using the tool. So, if you're using it and want some help, we'll be getting into that level. And also kind of strategic considerations for managers and people, trying to get data cultures in their team on how to build or maintain that kind of data culture and use GA4 effectively in your team. So it is pros and cons. We're going to do cons first, get the bad stuff out of the way. But, like most things, the pros and cons are often two sides of the same coin. So there'll be some repetition. And my slides are a little bit kind of fluffy, but there's a list of the pros and cons at the end. I'm sure we'll be able to share these slides, so you've got that kind of coherent list if you want it. So yeah, it's been, I don't know about you guys, I thought it would be a bit of an adjustment, but it's been a big adjustment. And it really starting out, and it reminded me, I don't know if you guys have seen the Glass Onion Netflix film. They've got these really elaborate little puzzle contraptions at the start where you've got to tweak the knobs and kind of, do all these crazy things to get to this party or this holiday invitation in the middle. And it feels a bit like that, like my precious data is that I've used is just sitting in these weird places, and it's taking all this weird stuff to actually get it out. And then sometimes when I do unlock the box, it's not even there at all. So that's how I felt at the start. Because yeah, the data has totally changed. So they've moved from a sessions to events-based model. So, session-based, a user comes onto your website, does a few things, and then leaves. And it's like a visit. That was how Universal Analytics measured things. But this is GA4 just looks at interactions as events. So it's all these events pinging from users. And they wanted to get away from the idea of a session because they want to track people between apps and websites, and also across different devices. So they're trying to group up different sessions or different visits across these different platforms, and kind of tie together a coherent user journey. So which is much more based on users. So it's totally different. All the data has changed. The metrics have changed. So things like sessions, like we just talked about, they're available, but they're devalued. GA4 is using users a lot more in the standard reports and places. That's kind of what they're going towards. But also the user metric, which we're used to from UA, is different in the standard reports. So before in UA, they used to use total users. Now in the standard reports, GA4 has this measure called active users, and it's calculated like people who engage with your site in a meaningful way, or someone's first visit that will trigger in that situation. So anyway, I've provided links to all the definitions in the slide deck, so you can explore. But you can see, so when you see users in your standard GA4 reports, they're different to UA. And they've removed some metrics like bounce rate, entrance, and exit rate. And we're seeing volume discrepancy. So even if you've got the same measure, say sessions, we're hearing anecdotally about a 10% difference in volumes compared to Universal Analytics. That's a lot. You're getting very different data here and different volumes. This means that getting continuity in reporting is hard. And if you've had dashboards, you've had Looker Studio, formerly known as Google Data Studio dashboards running, you're going to have to probably, they're not going to be showing the same kind of data. And I've just been recommending to clients, like, maybe don't try to get comparable data. Don't try to, because you probably won't find it. It's better to have a bit of a comms exercise in your organization. Like, everything's changed. The data has changed. We need to start afresh. And it's a good time to refresh your whole performance tracking, refresh your data, kind of the way that you kind of collect and your performance metrics in your organization as well. Privacy settings, yeah, there's holes and confusion. So this is not a result of GA4. GA4 has actually been kind of created to get around these privacy laws, regulations that are happening. So for example, the GDPR, this is the European General Data Protection Regulation. And this is the one that's requiring all European sites to have a little, to have an option for users to opt out of cookie tracking. So you're seeing a lot of sites with banners on the homepage where you can say, I don't want you to track my data, or I just want you to track the valuable, the essential data. You can have different levels. So users can opt out of tracking, and this equals holes in the data. Like I say, this isn't the fault of GA4, it's just what GA4 is trying to respond to, but it's something to keep in mind. You're not seeing your total, all of your users. If you have that option to opt out, some New Zealand sites don't, some New Zealand sites do. It's something to consider. And GA4 have promised this big kind of AI, like they're going to fill the gaps with predictive data, with machine learning, which is exciting. But at the moment, I've only really seen that for commerce sites. So it's things like predicted purchases and revenue. So I'm not seeing that machine learning promised land yet. But hopefully it'll get there for larger content sites, at least for that content performance and content data. And yeah, these different privacy settings that people can have mean that if they are say they only want to be tracking essential cookies and they opt into a certain level, you kind of need to be aware of what you're actually tracking and how that's impacting your data. So I've had clients with strange volumes coming up, like inflated volumes of things. And we think we're still untangling it, but we think that's because maybe people have chosen a privacy setting that's had a weird impact on their data. So if you've got that banner on your homepage, just make sure you understand what data you're getting, which can be quite confusing and quite difficult to untangle. You can extend your data retention settings. Now, this is just something I wanted to show you. Basically, user level data, things like events and things like that, the data automatically expires after 2 months. So it's really easy and a good idea to go and just change your data settings if you haven't already. So I'm just going to show you, we're in admin here, the big admin page. We just go into data retention, and you can see here that the Google Merch Shop data is set to keep to 14 months. So that's great. If it's 2 months, you can just use the drop down to change that. So another con, and this is, we are in a content, group. So I just think that for, content-driven sites, they've made it a lot harder, and just dabblers in general, they've made it a lot harder. So GA4 is very much geared towards advertising and conversions. So you've got, on one hand, you've got paid advertising, that it's really good at tracking that paid marketing stuff going on, when people are entering your site. And it's good at tracking the conversions or the purchases at the end. But all that content performance and user experience in between, it feels like that's a bit of been devalued a bit in the GA4 interface. And yeah, it's quite frustrating. I mean, marketers, there's a lot of functionality there. So there is potential, but for people who want to find content performance, it's tricky. And as we all know, content performance is key for any site, whether it be commerce or anything. You've got to understand what people are doing with your content and where they're going, and how they're engaging with it and what they're searching for, to find out how to increase those conversions or get that paid marketing paying off. So yeah, it's quite frustrating. Another con, so your universal analytics, I always found it a bit of a rabbit warren. It felt like a maze, and if you went down these different paths, and you'd get really deep into your data, and you'd be like, where the hell am I, and how do I get out? And but the data was there, the reports were there. If you kind of explored your way around the interface, you would eventually find them. But GA4 is different. It has fewer standard reports, which you'd think would be quite helpful, right? Less data, fewer reports, may suggest that it will be easier. That's our, content perspective on things, just reduced complexity. But they've actually hidden a lot of the good stuff, and meant that you need to use kind of complex filters and custom reports to get it out. So I read a blog post saying that UA had over 100 different built-in standard reports, whereas GA4 has 17. So that's a big change. And so, for example, you've got just an example. So here's our page report in the Google Merch Store account. And if we look at the different kinds of filters you can get in this report, you've got primary filter, you can change to page title or different things. You can change the whole table. You can add a secondary dimension, and that's like everything, traffic sources to each page, whatever you like. You can search, but unfortunately, you don't have your advanced search function here. So if I want to find the home page and I search for this, what am I going to get? I'm going to get everything, because everything contains a /. So actually isolating pages using this is impossible. So to do that, you need to create a filter. Here we have it here. It's reasonably straightforward, but not as easy as your little search box. And then you've also got a comparison filter that you can apply. And this is different again. It's the same interface, but it has a different function. So you see kind of how, and you've also got event and conversion filters happening. So it's just, there's a lot going on in these, and it takes a while. It took me a long time to get my head around how to access that good data. So yeah, and you need custom reports to get a lot of the data that isn't in those standard reports. And this highly customizable kind of GA4 means that it's quite hard to create a consistent data culture in your organization. And that's what I hear from a lot of clients, is that with universal analytics, people are using different measures here. They had their own little dashboards going. People were reporting on volumes, and they'd contradict other volumes. So there's always been that problem with Google Analytics, getting that consistent data culture, a shared understanding. But with GA4, I think it's more pronounced. All of these different places you can get the same data. And you can also even customize the interface. So you can pull in reports, different reports to have in your navigation. You can remove them. You can have different modules in each report. It's great. You get all that flexibility, but it is also hard to maintain that shared understanding. And just a note on that, the customization is great, but if you're learning about GA4 and you want to follow the tutorial videos, or you don't want to be too unique. You don't want to have your interface too unique so that you can't see what's going on. So yeah, the question really is, how much time do you have? It takes a lot of time to get your head around this. It's to learn GA4, but as I talked about before, also create a consistent data culture in your team, just getting everyone on the same page. So they've dropped some popular stuff as well, another con. So missing elements in GA4. We've talked about regex search in the standard reports, no property views. People have been struggling with this. You used to be able to have an account for your website, and then you'd have different views with different filters applied to those views. So you could exclude New Zealand traffic, just look at overseas traffic. You could have IP address filters. You can't do that anymore. You've got one view one view that you can apply filters to that view, but you can't have different views. No annotation. So you used to be able to annotate the graphs. If there was a big spike in your traffic, you could put a label on it and say, this happened because of this reason. You can't do that anymore. No bounces, entrances, and exits in the standard reports. No section devoted to search data. This is a personal bugbear of mine. I loved the search section. It had this whole section in GA in Universal Analytics. And I think that's such a key to understanding audience needs. And, you used to be able to see search performance if people were exiting after search without clicking on a result, or how many people were searching. And yeah, I miss that. It's quite, you're going to have to get really customized to get that data out now. And no advanced segments. And these used to be helpful little filters that you could apply. That they do have a lot of other filters. They've got audience filters, but they're not quite the same. So yeah, I'm finding there's quite a lot of bugs. Don't know about you guys. And I know, okay, coming clean, I know that sometimes I'll be in the interface and I'll be like, this is broken. It's totally broken. And then, come back a day later and I'll be like, I was just doing it wrong. I think we've all been there. But it happens. Like, there are bugs. Like, I go and I create an exploration, a custom report, it's working fine. And then I click in to do some training, it's broken. So there are things happening. And of course, this makes you feel even more insecure when you're trying to learn a new tool with new metrics and things are breaking. It's like, whoa, it's too much. And also things are changing all the time. So you'll go in, the next day and it'll be different. And that's quite hard. Okay, so those are the cons. Enough negativity. Not all is lost. We've got some pros here. And again, this is the biggest thing is, do you have time to get into this? It'll take a bit of time. If you've got good Universal Analytics knowledge, you'll be able to find your way around and get used to stuff. It's not completely different. But if you're new to it, and it'll just take time. However, you don't need a data science degree or a stats degree. You just need that time, and you need an interest in the user experience and an analytical, curious mind. So I like to think of GA like a language, and this is even more applicable to GA4. It's all the terminology is quite difficult to get your head around. But it's really necessary now, because you don't have those standard reports to just tell you you can figure out what you're looking at. You need to pull things out from huge lists. And so you need to understand the terms for things. And that takes a while, but it's understanding that language that'll help you get there. So yeah, some more pros. So smart search. This is pretty cool. Basically, in the search bar in any report, you can search for simple queries, something like last year. How many users from New Zealand last year? And it will just bring up the number and you can copy it. So that's always a good, you might not have to need to learn it at all. You can just ask your questions in the search bar. And again, just make sure though you know exactly what you're looking at. Users is clear here, but just make sure you've got that metric, which is the measure, you understand that and kind of take it down. But, you know, I think we were all watching with interest about how AI makes us all redundant, and it's no different with GA. I think this is only going to get better, this function. And, you know, I've heard some people already using chatbots, I think Google Bard, to make requests from their data and using that as an interface with GA4. So, you know, there's always that. If you're into that stuff, give that a go. But yeah, smart search is pretty cool. There is a new engagement metric. So we talked before about how bounce rate has been dropped. I was never a big fan of bounce rate. It's basically like someone goes onto your website, looks at one page and then leaves. So on a commerce site, this is a bad user experience. You know, you want people to explore, click to see more products or buy something through a shopping cart funnel. But on a lot of, you know, especially large content sites, this could be a great user experience. They come in to get school holiday dates and then they leave. So there's no bounces. There are no bounces in GA4, but we do have a new engagement metric. And I'll just show you this. This is it's kind of user or session based. So you'll find it in these traffic acquisition reports. And here it is, engaged sessions. This is what it tracks: the number of sessions that lasted longer than 10 seconds or had a conversion event or had 2 or more screen or page views. So, okay, it's a bit of a mouthful and not ideal when you're trying to communicate it to your organization, but it's looking at a meaningful visit, right? A meaningful interaction with your site. And you've got different ones here: engaged sessions per user, or probably the best one, engagement rate. So that's something to keep in mind as a pretty cool new measure. And yeah, so there are some cool, I'm finding the graphs and the standard reports a lot more useful than those for universal analytics, because you can see the cause of spikes at a glance if they're big enough. So if I just show you in the pages and screens report for Google Merch Shop, we can see a big spike in the graph, and you can see exactly what pages that are in that spike. Basically, people were visiting on the 27th of September. So they're visiting the basket, they're visiting the homepage, they're visiting the store. So pretty standard stuff: Google redesign apparel, stationery is a little one. It was actually Google's 25th birthday on that day. So clearly there was a lot more interest in their web and buying merchandise, clearly. If I go to other reports, say into the traffic acquisition report we were just looking at, you can see that a spike is here too. So you can see that basically direct traffic and organic search traffic are the big contributors to the spike. Going down into demo details, here we've got the countries that contributed to the spike, and you can see it's mainly from the United States. And even going into tech, I'm just going to change the primary dimension to device category. And you can see that desktop traffic was made. So you're getting a picture of your audience for that day and that spike just by clicking through a few reports, which is really pretty cool. Just to keep in mind, this graph only shows the top 5 things. So top 5 pages or traffic sources. So if you're getting spikes from other ones that are not that are a bit lower level, you won't see them. But you can always filter to days of interest, or create filters for pages that you're interested in to uncover. And then if you do that, the graph will change if you create a filter. So I'm finding that pretty useful. So, and also this is probably the best thing about GA4 is the built-in event tracking. If you remember with Universal Analytics, you had to create custom tracking. You had to get into your code or get into Google Tag Manager. It could be quite complex, and create just to track things like downloads or external clicks on external links, or scroll tracking, things like this. But in GA4, it's called enhanced measurement events, and you just tick a box in your admin section and you're tracking all of these things. So you've got outbound clicks, file downloads, sites, which we're already tracking, but video engagement, form interaction, and scrolls. If I just show you again where to do this, just so you know, we're going back, we're still in our admin. Just going to click into here, because this is a really good one, a really good quick one. So you're going into data streams, and that's it. It's quite confusing. You don't think, oh, it's not intuitive. But anyway, data streams from admin, clicking into the data stream that you're interested in. Here you can see an enhanced measurement, and you can see that things that are being measured. All you have to do is check this box. So if you haven't already, go and do that. It's really worth it. And there is a link. If you didn't catch that, there's a link in the slide deck as well. So now that you're tracking all those interesting events, you can also see them in standard reports. So this is these are pretty cool. They are event and conversion filters that appear in the standard reports. So if I go back to we've got pages and screens. You can see here you've got event count and conversions, and you can select events from the drop-down box. So this account, the Google Merch Shop account, has a lot because I've got a lot of custom events set up. If you don't, you'll see a much shorter list. It'll be quite easy to find stuff. If I press click, that is looking at clicks on external links. So I can see on each page how many people clicked out to a different website. And you can get that high-level view. It's the same for scrolls. So scroll is another great one. Scrolling triggers when you basically users scroll to 90% of the page. So, and here it's coming out with 0, which I don't think it was. I think that might be a bit of a mistake. I'm pretty sure people are scrolling down on these pages. But anyway, that will show you on your website how many people are scrolling to 90% of the page for each page. And then you've got conversions. So conversions are just events that you have marked. They're just events that you have marked as conversions. You've marked these events as important or key interactions. And here I can see things like add to cart. So this is of interest. You're shopping. Of course, it's a conversion if someone adds something to their shopping cart, adds one of your products. And you can see here the pages where they are doing that. So I just increased the rows. You've got the basket. Okay, fair enough. But then you're getting down here to specific products. So you've got the recycled backpack, 1,400 add to carts for that one. The redesigned birthday tee, which we just looked at, the 25th birthday tee. So it gives you that really at a glance view of what's happening on your pages. And you can do this for traffic sources. All of the other reports, standard reports, allow this, which is pretty neat. Yeah, and just relating to, it's great to have that event tracking, so we just looked at the enhanced events. we've turned on all our events, we're tracking them away. The one annoying thing is that the actual reports for these events are a bit rubbish. So I'll show them to you. So we're going into here. So you're tracking your events. I'm just going to show you the search one. So here are all your events that you're tracking. The merchandise store tracking. View search results. So here's my bugbear, right? You used to have a whole section devoted to search. Now you have this report. And okay, we've got like total users. Okay, fair enough. Last events in the last 30 minutes, not useful to most people, to be honest. Events by country. Okay, guys, where are the search terms? Where are the search terms? Gender, no, we're not getting there yet. Okay, page title, right? Search results, that doesn't seem super useful. Location, right down the bottom, the search results. Where are they? Here they are. Okay, I could hardly find them. And this is just a little table. You can't filter it. It's just, I think, 12 items. I think it must be in the last 30 minutes. But anyway, it's a bit useless. Okay, so, and the thing is, these reports are the same or similar for all of the events. So you're just getting one standard report for all of your events. So really, they're expecting us to do some custom explorations with these. And I can give you a little demo. So these custom explorations, this is a pro, right? Explorations are pretty cool when you get your head around them. So to go to explorations, we go to explore. Explorations are just custom reports that you can create within the GA4 interface. Universal Analytics, they had custom reports, but they were a bit rubbish, right? They're a bit ugly, bit clunky, and I very rarely use them. But I'm finding in GA4, I'm using these ones a lot more. So here you have a list of explorations that other people have created and ones that I've created. And I'm going to show you search terms. So this takes a while to get your head around, this interface and how you use it. Okay, it looks very confusing. But when you get the basics, you can create a nice simple report. So here we're seeing the list of search terms. Great. Okay, so I can see lots of rows. I can export it. I can share it. I can filter it. So we can filter by search term. So we're looking at search term contains dino. And then, oh, it just deleted that. Okay, search term contains dino and apply. And here I can actually filter my search terms and search for common factors. I'm sure most of you are aware of that people are searching on the merchandise store for dino because of the Chrome dino. When you're offline when you're offline in Chrome, you can play this amazing little dinosaur game. So there's just a little break from the data from the GA4 madness. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And you can actually buy products on this, the things that you learn. So yeah, that's our a little custom report, a little exploration that, and like I say, you'll probably be spending a bit of time in these reports. So it's really a good idea to get to know them, and they can be really useful, right? Like you do get a lot more freedom and flexibility and customization with these kind of reports. You can get a lot more out, and if you've got a GA4 expert or in your team, they can create ones that are relevant to your organization. Then you can just go and visit them and look at the data, or if you want to be that expert, create them for your team, and then you've got a nice share them, and then you can all have this shared understanding of what you're looking at. So just as a final, so I just wanted to show you, okay, this is I think maybe what content people will find the most interesting in GA4 and useful. And it's an exploration like we've just been looking at, but it's very easy to use, thank God. And you know how universal analytics used to be, it didn't show user journeys very well. It didn't show linear journeys where you could track users through each of their steps through your pages and see kind of what links they were clicking on and where they ended up. But in GA4, we have this lovely exploration. It's called a path exploration. You can go and have a look at the one up there. That these are the templates you can use if you want. I've got one that I created earlier. So you can ignore all this stuff on the left-hand side, unless you want to play around with that. All you have to do if you want to see this is select a starting point. Now, what we're looking at, what this report will show us is where are people going next, basically. So if we look at the Google Merchandise Store, the homepage, what are they clicking on? You know, how are our links working? Where are they going? Navigation links, what are they doing? So if we go back, we select a starting point and we go page title. So let's start with the homepage. Where are people going from the homepage? So here's the homepage and here's where they're going. So we just get rid of not set. We just ignore that. Exclude node. But here we go. We can see. So say we're interested in, there's a nice bright red link of the sale page. How many people are going to the sale page from the homepage? Okay, so 151,000 start on the homepage and about 2,000 or 3,000 click onto the sale page. Okay, so let's have a look at where people who start on the sale page. So we can start again, choose another page. Going down, here's the sale page. So if we click on, have a look, and here, because on this page, we're getting into products. So it's like, wow, here we go. Can we actually see what products people are clicking on? Let's have a look. So, okay, there's some people are clicking on stuff like home, new. These are all global navigation sections, the top level sections, the shopping cart. But if we get further into it, sorry, it's taking a while. We need to do one more click. So let's have a look. How many people are clicking on the Google Pocket T Grey? And we can see here, it's just coming up, but we can see from the sale page, around 500 people are clicking on that product page. Okay, great. What are they doing from there? Well, some are going back to sales, some are going, and 18 are going to the shopping cart. So that's like a conversion, right? Great. We're actually seeing a user journey to a conversion. They're adding this product to their shopping cart, and then where are they going next? Okay, so a few are going around the place, but 3 are going to check out your information. So they're going further down in that funnel. So this report, you know, I know this is a commerce site. I just wanted to use this clear example, but you can see how the value of this data just actually showing user journeys. And it's so you can follow your way, follow your nose. You can check out particular pages you've created, see how they're going. You can also do ending point. So a conversion will be checkout confirmation. So people are confirming their purchase. We're interested in that. That's a big conversion. And okay, so there are the pages that are coming to from here. And it's taking a while to load, so I won't wait for that. But you basically get this kind of funnel about how people are going through your pages and what steps they're coming into. That you don't have to curate, you don't have to create a complex data, you know, report, a funnel report. You just can have a look at what people are doing. So that's really cool. So yeah, if you want a bit more information about that, I created a YouTube video demoing this. It's pretty much what you've just seen. You might just find your way yourself, but if you want, you can have a look at that. So yeah, here are the cons. Come to the end of them. So different data collection model means different metrics and volume discrepancies. There's a stronger emphasis on marketing, conversions, and purchases than content. Privacy settings mean customized data collection and holes in data, quite confusing. Completely different interface and fewer reports mean that data is hidden. There are missing things and there are bugs. Yeah, and the big con is that time. We talked about this. Time needed to get our heads around it. But the pros, filters and explorations provide more data customization. You've got that freedom and flexibility. You've got built-in event tracking. You've got event and conversion filters and standard reports for a quick view on your kind of key interactions. Smart search, the AI kind of search, which is only going to get better. Engagement metric, a more meaningful way of looking at engaged sessions. And graphs and standard reports, you can really easily see this cause of big spikes to your website, spikes in users. And the path exploration to easily see user journeys through your pages. So yeah, there's just that freedom and flexibility to go deeper into our data. And if all else fails, there's always Looker Studio. And I make a joke of this, but it's actually valid. I think Google Analytics have really, they're pushing away the dabblers and they're saying, okay, get your Looker Studio report, which can be useful. And I think this is valid. I mean, we're doing lots of dashboards and getting all your data on one page, literally getting people on the same page with this data. And it's shareable and it can be really useful. So for a lot of people, that's a really good option. Great. Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining, and yeah, sign up to my newsletter for more GA4 tips. And we can of course help you with all of the stuff, everything GA4 that you require. Lanalytics can help. So thanks a lot.